lives in LA for a long time. I don't know how long. And he lives in China now and comes back and forth. He goes to New York, he comes here. He's the national coordinator of the National Immigrant Solidarity Network, the Action LA Network, and he's going to be talking about a lot of different, his travels, his experiences from Gaza to China.
Yes.
So let me welcome you and let me know which video you want when.
Okay. Thank you.
When the videos are on, if somebody can like hit the lights, right? So
Yes.
you can see better.
Should
Oh, I gotta turn the sound back on.
Do we need a mic? We might just leave it off.
It's up to you. Let's try it first. Good evening, everyone. My name is Siu Hin. Thank you for John and Maggie to invite me to come into the lovely and powerful event tonight to talk about our work. My name is Siu Hin, and the national coordinator of the several heads. So it's not loud enough, so I guess it got to be.
Okay, you want the sound, yeah.
Yeah, but the sounds maybe better.
Thank you.
I try not to yell because people know when I yell it's really big noise, so I and not to be. Is that turned off? No, okay.
Let's just
Again.
here.
Done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, what is that? This buzzing is pretty strong.
So some maybe just an echo. So we are national, international organizations with members and supporters from around the world. I live in Los Angeles for more than 40-some years, since 1980s. And I've done many works, from the legit work to crazy work to a revolutionary work, many things. I'm also undocumented worker before. I went to university, and people know my story that we might know that I've been doing labor organizing, and also have been worked for Pacifica Radios during 1990s, done sanctuary movement back 1980s, and almost every movement, political movement in US and LA will be involved. Just on the reason you might know me or don't know me, the reason is simply speaking because hard to say, but also it's a reality. I'm not white. It's the truth. John knows that D2K, also the May Day, we are one of the major organizers, but no one recognizes us and no one remembers us. That's a serious issue. Day back 1990s when I was in Pacifica and KPLK Los Angeles, we are among the very few Asian Americans in the radio station, and they treat us very badly. Although we are unpaid workers, they exploit us very badly. But they want us to be there because why? Because Pacifica needs Asian American as a tokenized figures. I was also KPLK intern programming council president, and no one remembers me. That's how bad it was. That's the reason, the struggle, back and forth, always a case. And of course, other thing is because the tension and struggle and political struggle between U.S. imperialists with China and other countries. Because we are not standing on the U.S. imperial side, so we always got attacked on almost every issue. From issue in China, issue in Iraq, issue in Yugoslavia, issue in Africa, issue in Russia, issue in Palestine, issue in immigrants' rights, everything. So we have been uphill battles. Another thing is we are not pay organizers, we pay our own way to do it, and we have been struggle and do it for many years, including right now what we're doing. So that's my background. Today they invite me to talk about China. So I've been, of course, I've been working in one of my job was working in downtown LA for a long time in a factory, and day back 2000, when we done many big ass event mobilizations from D2K to border actions. I still remember you and I was on the hot tubs on San Diego talking about revolution. You remember that? That's 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And May Day and labor rights and fight against the U.S. imperialism going to invade Afghanistan, then Iraq. They're always done that. And then people start approaching me because at that time I'm also studying in the university, California Pomona, and master's degrees. And so I also was a student organizer in the campus and also around the country, national organized student, several organizations. So people try to approach me saying, Siu Hin, you've been well known by XYZ movement, and we want to invite you to do something even more bigger. And we want you to be an international organizer, to do something great in Asia, especially in China. So when I hear that, I think most people will say, great, but I immediately alert. Very, very alert why they're talking to me in Washington, D.C. next to K Street on the bar, buying me a beer when they never buy me even a shit. So the first, usually the deal is that when the first time they said that, people knows me, I'm a pretty temperamental person, very, very temperamental person. And, but I'm very polite saying that I'm not ready, I'm shy, I don't want to do it. So I said, okay, let's go and move on. Then a few months later, when I go to DC again for immigrants' rights and labor things, then they invite me again to have a good beer talk. I still saying, no, I'm not interested. They said, okay, let's move on, and then other subject. Then the third time, then a few months later, third time when they invite me again, then I start losing patience. I said, I'm not interested. I know where you're coming from. You're coming from Solidarity Center and National Endowment for Democracy, which is we against it. Do you know, everyone know what is National Endowment for Democracy?
CIA, what?
Then the face turned red. Then move on. Then a few months later, we start to figure out that they are launching a campaign in China, paid by Department of State, National Endowment for Democracy. Then, this time they approach me. I approach them, saying that, I know you're doing this, you're going against my country. I know who organized this. I know where the money comes from. I know who is the key leaders in this movement. If you dare to do this to my country, I'm going to fuck with you down to the heart, and I will expose you everything, what you do down to the pennies. Is that, am I understanding clear? Is that clear? Okay, fine. And I really seriously tried that. I know I'm pretty then you know I'm a very temperamental person. Then they start want to push it. Because we got a big support from the Asian American labor movement and activist group. That time it was very, very radical. Some of them coming from Los Angeles. So I'm not the only one person who doing this. This was but we are all collectively together passing a resolution from the labor movement to the peace movement that CIA out from the movement, CIA out from China. So that we've done that. So then the next time, I really, and that time, I just give them more and more hard time. And not only me, but groups of Asian American labor and social justice activists, and at the end, they back off. And then I also wrote an article to deliberately expose them. That article is now really difficult to find. It was published in G magazines. Its title is called Labor's China Symptoms. Still okay, Labor China Symptoms. If you type the keyword, you still can find it because I list who pays what down to the money from what organizations. Because don't fuck with me, but not only because I'm a temperamental person, I was coming from the Pacifica Radio. I do a lot of investigations. By that time, I was in multiple times in former Yugoslavia, multiple times in former Soviet Union, multiple times in military-industrial complex done lots of investigation, got media award, and with my own money. So I know how to find your information. So this time they got really, really pissed, really pissed, and they threatened me with incredible threat. Then that's the time I realized that this is not a simple political game. This is a systematic project. That time, no one knows what exactly it's about, why they're approaching a bunch of young kids and then corrupted them in the US campus, and then bringing them and then do something strange things, and then why they want CIA and all these groups are now very interested about like a street movement and then all that kind of thing. Few years later, we now know what that is. It's a color revolution. The designing a color revolution start from 2000. They saw that anti-globalization movement, youth street culture, youth street movement was a very good tool to use. So they start systematically approach to the youth, so-called the youth leaders, student leaders from that time, around 20 years old, now it's 40, 50 years old, to join them, to co-opt them, and then train them to how to teach CIA and other National Endowment Democracy and USAID how to launch color revolutions. That's what we found out. That's the reason I decided that I should go back to China. Not every time people, when they pissed me, when they got pissed what I said, and they tell me to go back to home, go back to China. Okay, I go back to China. I decided to go back to China, and besides, I got blacklisted on getting any jobs in this country. So I decided back and forth, and with careful organizing, done lots of China solidarity since then. That was since 2009. So I still keeping my job here, doing some work, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and very carefully, and then also tactically to do organizing. That's the reason we created the organization called China-US Solidarity Network. Each of the network, which is like National Immigrant Solidarity Network, was created on the 2001 when the Muslim registrations and then start militarization of border. That time, activists don't consider immigrants' rights movement is part of social justice movement. Even the labor considered immigrants is a bunch of like the racist W words, call them I words or W words, and they're still in U.S. labor jobs, and they do not recognize. So we created this to want to advocate the voice of the immigrants. And same thing, and Action LA was we created this for the social justice movement for the youth, and now we're all getting over. At that time it's the youth, and then to join together to raise our voice on the post-Cold War generations. That's what we're talking about. And then China-US Solidarity Networks specifically to mobilize the activists from Chinese American, Asian Americans to Chinese activists together to work for a common goal, to fight US imperialism, to build a mutual China-US solidarity. So that's what we have been doing for the many years. Struggle can be changed quite a lot, many, many times. Since the COVID, since the Trump 1.0, the anti-China hysteria, China bashing, xenophobia has been dramatically increased. There's many reasons involved. The China-US Solidarity Network, not only just building a mutual understanding to prevent a color revolution to my country, but also at the same time that we need to work tactically. That's the reason we've done many documentaries. We work with many friends that are willing to support us, and then to do a lot of book publishing. During the COVID, we did a book called Capitalism Ventilators, and then banned by Amazon for 6 months. And we won the Amazon did not, that's also a documentary we made that I can send you the link, you can see it. Then, about Xinjiang. We don't want that Xinjiang will become another Syria. So that's the reason we've done many delegations to one to Xinjiang. We've done many China delegations. We've done many fact-finding tours. That all is, we're doing another one next month. That all is our own pocket passing the bucket operations to do this. Then, October 7, 2023, the Gaza. That's the least. Then we find that we also need to support. We have been supporting Gaza since 1970s. We cannot let Zionists, U.S. imperialists, to smash, to destroy the pastime. That's the simple speaking. Also, we need, China has been supporting the Palestinian struggle since 1960s. And so we want to, so as the activist groups, we decided that we want to, with other activist organizations from US and Europe, going to Gaza to support. But also, again, people don't know I do exist, like pretty typical invisible Asian American. So we went there and then no one recognized me. And, but that's actually ironically saved my ass. Because many peace movements, they thought that they can just simply go to Egypt because that's the easiest way to go Gaza is from Egypt and then go to Gaza. Then you land at Egypt and then they can just like free Palestine and then you can march to the border and then support them. Of course, that never happened. As soon as all these activists landed to Egypt, they all got arrested and deported immediately. That's the deal. I was invited to go, but they did not invite me in the beginning. They called me that there's going to have something happen. They want me to immediately go. I was in China. I couldn't have that kind of money to do that, so I just do a quick fundraising, and then fundraising is still not enough, so I do the regular good old American way to do the quick fundraising. You know what is that, right? Credit card. Credit card. So okay, I'm going to use credit card to buy tickets to go to Egypt. Then when I'm going to buy tickets, they told me that a couple of my activist friends immediately from Egypt, American activist friends from Egypt, call me, don't go, we all got arrested. So, okay, I decided not to go, and then 2 months later, I still got to do something. So, I fought very careful that I go by myself with another Chinese comrade together to go to Egypt as a journalist, because I was a good old reporter from Pacifica Radio. So I first go as a journalist to talk to the people, can I do whatever I can do? So without any problem, I talked to lots of people, and then they recommend me not to go into other country as a hotshot activist. It's other country, although I know Egypt is corrupted, that's true, and then there's also a problem. But at the same time, you are not going to other country just like a white savior to go into saying that you're going to change something. Number two is only the activism work is not enough high. And we should also going to do something very specific, very significant to can support the Gaza people. Do some humanitarian work, damn it. So, okay, I listened to them. I decided to do something, and then next trip when I'm going back, by the request from Palestinian activists and then Palestinian family, we're going to do humanitarian work. That's the reason we started to call it Panda 8. And then because of past experience on journalism in Iraq and all this war correspondent, I know how to directly communicate with the UN. I went to different route. I do the humanitarian work, and then from humanitarian work to spread the activism work, and then meet with different Palestinian and activist groups from around the region to work together. So this is the first video I want to show, and then it's 3 minutes. It's last April, just 3 months ago. We went to Egypt to work to discuss with UN humanitarian organizations, because we're working with Palestinian organizations to ship roughly 4 tons of medical supplies right now to Gaza.
Oh, this isn't it, right? This is it?
No, this is a conference.
Oh, okay.